Sometimes what you want is right in front of you. All you have to do is open your eyes and see it. While programming something sounds fun and interesting, the concept of programming can sound difficult and scary. But what if I told you that there was a very easy way to learn how to program something with a tool already available inside your book bag right now? Today, I'm going to tell you about TI Basic, a simple yet powerful programming language for your TI calculators. TI calculators are considered as the best calculators for students to use even to this day, and are widely recommended for students by various industries and schools. So the chances are, most of you probably own one, and you can use them to start programming right away. I have been programming on my TI 84 Plus calculator since I was 11 years old, and still programming with TI Basic to this day. With TI Basic, I have been able to create almost everything I wanted to create, from simple math program to RPG games. I would like you to imagine yourself looking up on Google to learn how to learn a popular programming language such as Java or C Sharp. You find all the great and detailed tutorials and start referencing them heavily as you try to learn, while some are blindly following one of the tutorials without really knowing what's going on. Concept of variables, they're easy enough since you've seen this in your algebra classes. If and then statement, heck, you know how that works in English too. But then, as you learn and follow the tutorial, it hits you with a load of new instructions all of a sudden that you're not even sure if you'll use them later on. You soon look up a documentation about the language you're trying to learn to figure out what all those new instructions mean. And that is when it hits you hard. The documentation contains thousands of methods and syntaxes that you will probably not even use later. There is no way you can memorize everything in the documentation. You have to continuously search for documentation every time you want to make something. You start to learn how to program and you want to make programs now. But having to reference the documentation every time you have a new idea interrupts your workflow, and it can be very, very annoying. First, I will discuss why TI Basic is a very simple and fit as an instruction to programming. And then, I will discuss the benefits of learning how to program using TI Basic. Finally, I will explain the potential of TI Basic. So, what makes TI Basic an excellent introduction to programming? The major strength of TI Basic is that the language is incredibly simple while containing the basic concepts of general programming. One of the reasons why learning a programming language can be difficult is because of immense amount of information that the learners must take without being able to properly recognize which information is needed for them in the first place. That is not a problem for TI Basic, since the language contains less than 50 instructions that are used for programming. Added to that, because TI Basic is for graphing calculators, immense amount of math functions are already built in, saving coders time and effort to having to code routines for those math functions. Not only that the language is incredibly simple and concise, but also that TI Basic is a proper language, meaning that the language contains all the necessary parts of the programming language, such as an ability to store variables, use conditionals, and make loops. This means that new programmers can learn the concept of programming from TI Basic and successfully apply their knowledge to other more advanced programming languages they wish to learn later. The TI Basic is a great stepping stone for those who want to learn a programming language. Now that I went over why TI Basic can be a great introductory language for new programmers, I will now explain the benefits of actually learning TI Basic. The benefit of learning TI Basic is that it is easy to practice with and helps new programmers learn how to plan their projects. Because TI Basic is for TI calculators, they're naturally handheld devices, which means the programmers can easily carry their programming tools with them everywhere. One of the best ways to learn computer programming is to practice by continuing to code. Portability of the devices means great accessibility, which means the programmers can practice whenever they want, granting them experience faster and easier than other heavy-duty programming languages. Additionally, TI Basic is what we call an interpreted language, which means the new programmers can download programs and look at the source code directly to study them as well, without having to compile them and breaking their code. One other benefit that TI Basic had is that it helps the programmers to plan out their coding project. Because the standard TI graphing calculators only have 24 kilobytes of memory to use, compared to the PC which can have terabytes of memory, any big projects the programmers want to work on needs to be planned out thoroughly so that the programmers can code everything they want to without having to run out of space continuously. With the benefits of learning TI Basic explained, I will now cover just what the programmers can do with TI Basic. The potential of TI Basic, just like many other programming languages, is limitless. From a simple quadratic equation solver to a full-fledged role-playing game, TI Basic can create everything out of the scratch. Although it is a programming language that can be used for everything, TI Basic at its core is designed for math programs. One of the well-known examples are quadratic equation solvers and various other formula solvers that you might see in classes. In real life, knowing even the basics of TI Basic can save you a lot of time doing assignment, solving repetitive problems, as long as the users have enough knowledge to do their work. With that said, other than math programs, TI Basic is well known for game development for calculators, mostly role-playing games due to not having required to display heavy graphics being math heavy. Today, I have explained to you why TI Basic is a very simple language to learn, why it is beneficial to learn them, and how powerful the language can be. Other than looking a bit like a nerd for programming something on your calculator, TI Basic offers a nice introductory bridge between people who wish to learn how to program and the conventional computer programming language that the experienced programmers use, such as Java or C++. As Meg Cabot said, what you have been looking for is inside your book bag all this time. You just have to pull out your calculator and start programming.